Javagal Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad, Mr. Prakash Padukone, Pulela Gopichand, VVS Lakshman. The network has immensely helped. The sixth term got my first and only D across my 6 terms in IIM. You know, so that was really the full circle.
But did you know that the Atlantic end of the Panama Canal is west of the Pacific end of the...
That question I will defer to answer because I don't want to. You know, the first, I think, in a series of many radical and people would say sometimes irrational.
How dare you apply to IIM Calcutta, you commerce people?
Yeah, absolutely. Total black box. I mean, no idea of like what was the basis, why A did not call, why K did not call, why C and L called, but on the face of it, rejected immediately, all of it.
So what was the reason from going from Pepsi to a much smaller company?
So I was a sales guy doing investor relations. Whatever happens from here, this is something that's going to stay with you. And I think while people are like, oh, you went to IIM Bangalore and you decided to start this, but I can clearly see that you're not passionate about this at all.
Did your reading habit really help you?
Two things that I think I would always be grateful for it for. The immense level of confidence that it gave me. The fact that he was partnering with Indian cricketer Anil Kumble to start a company. Got my hands dirty quite a bit doing a whole bunch of things.
How has ChatGPT changed your business?
Just the history of chocolate overall, where we are essentially the Q&A providers of choice for several large television shows across.
So, is Amitabh Bachchan still doing the seasons 15 and 16 or is somebody new?
So I'm usually on the other side of this.
So tell us about Kumble. What's his personality like and how long did you work with him?
The pandemic happened and we our revenue ended up being half.
How do you leverage AI in your research?
Through searing summer of 1999 to do a black and white television market survey.
So Venky, 4 years in Saskin seems like 4 different jobs. Is that what held you on to Saskin as your longest employer?
I'd say that helped me, if not with anything, my confidence in the verbal and RC sections in CAT.
But if you ask Venky, every finger that he points to me, there are like those 3 pointing towards him. So
this is not a kind of forum where you'll sledge the other person for not getting an answer.
Ignorance is bliss, and it helped you maintain your confidence. Don't overthink.
Yeah. Now I will tell you the logic behind getting to that answer without a Google search.
What's been your experience working both with Anil Kumble, a celebrity, and then Amitabh Bachchan, another celebrity?
Okay, this is like at the face of it a very obscure, random question. Remember that you still have to do a job.
Till 2 seconds ago, I did not.
So why don't you go and do something you're passionate about?
Generative AI won't take your job. It's someone who is using generative AI who will take your job. I know nowadays people still think that it's a black box, but at least they know their percentile and all that. What's your question for our audience?
I said, what do you mean anyone? Like, please take, here is my resume, please take it. A lot of the quiz shows that we do are school quiz shows where we didn't have a great business plan. We didn't have like some detailed study of the market. We had none of that. What we knew was we were super passionate about this.
Quizzing got killed by Google searches.
Through a combination of accident, design, enthusiasm, etc., figured out that marketing was the way to go. And then, of course, I had the memorable opportunity of going to the Chinnaswamy Stadium where Anil Kumble was, president of the KSC at that time. Just walking into that campus to do that interview was like it was an indescribable feeling.
I hate to tell you this, Viks. I don't think you can set up a quiz company to compete with Venky using Claude or ChatGPT.
Listen, of all the people I've met, your communication skills are possibly in the top 1.
Can you make it more concrete for me?
Our quizzing team was called Nexus. It was in fact called Holy Nexus to kind of make it clear that it is not unholy.
How have you pivoted in the last 10 years?
There's a difference between, for example, a fact and a story behind that fact. If anybody came and asked me for that many selfies and that many autographs, I would certainly lose it.
Scary thesis to begin with, I think.
I was so amazed and so jealous when I found out that the venue for the Anusmaran was at the Oval.
Why did it increase? Which product increased?
I had no clue how I had done. I'll get you in and I'm sure you'll learn on the job. The glamour will veer away very quickly.
What impact is Gen AI having in their world?
There's a performance art element to the business. It's not just the content. I mean, I don't think anybody in any organization would necessarily have done marketing and communications, investor relations, and sales.
It all started from the vision that it has to be iconic.
How would you possibly think you can arrive at an answer to it? In a way, augured well, because that's what the company is about, trying to find interesting patterns to everything in life.
You bring something extra to the table.
The crown jewel of Indian television quizzing, which is Kaun Banega Crorepati. We're hoping to make inroads into the UK market, for example. So that itself is an error by ChatGPT. He'll sit and watch a Ranji game.
And that's what separates the Quizmasters.
It can give you like a great starting point.
And that has existed for at least 10 or 15 years.
So I definitely tell anyone who's starting up to actively consider a co-founder. What is the great value of using generative AI? The first few all correct answers will get shout-outs on the next episode of IIM Baad. Then, Achan, don't worry, it's okay. We have some ways. If you don't clear the paper, we'll apply for revaluation.
So I'm sure he'll be more cautious.